Okay, good morning, thanks. So if you look at the expectations for this year, the whole idea was that because a couple of things are happening early next year, so an election year and campaigns expected to start, government will try to do a lot of things to boost their chances. So expectations were that a lot of money will be in circulation and therefore boost consumption power, and then people will be able to spend a little more than you would expect in normal times. But interestingly, what is happening is more like a very stable, steady thing, and you're not seeing that boost or, if you like, that kind of big sales drive you would have expected as at this stage. Though the sector is still growing. From the PMI index, you will notice that it grew for the 17th time, and some specific sectors are growing, but then again, in a very calm, mild way, not exceptionally growing. And so that tells you something that, well, it will be stable, it will not be as boisterous as expected, as we're not yet feeling the impact of the beginning of elections, the spending, or even the government trying to do a lot of capital projects which will throw money into the system. So it's a bit interesting because it's not as much as expected in terms of activities. By now you are entering December, so you'd have seen a lot of things going on. But it's a bit subdued, which gives an impression that probably things are still trying to rev up as much as we expect.
Do you think the cost for manufacturers is spiking? Because if you look at things like diesel price, given where the oil price has been and the increase in diesel price, and a lot of manufacturers actually use generators for their power at the moment, do you think that's going to have an effect on, especially with this steady sales, as you've commented on, do you think it's going to have an effect on manufacturers' profits when we start seeing results?
Yes, it could, because essentially one of the things manufacturers try to do a lot is drop their cost profiles as much as possible. So if you're seeing that the sales are not as boisterous as expected and are not as high, then what is going to happen is that they are going to try to at least post regular numbers. But it will surely affect, because diesel has gone up. But don't forget that a lot of them are also dependent on gas. A lot are dependent on their own other sources of power, which are not as expensive as diesel. But however, you're right, it will probably affect it. But again, my thinking is that maybe by the second week of December, things might rev up a bit and flow into early January, and that might cushion the effect of any cost spikes.
Right. The decline in the price of oil has really raised concerns in terms of the stability of the currency. And now we know what has happened in the past. When we saw oil prices dip in 2015, 2016, we saw very volatile currency, which had a huge impact on manufacturing. Do you share those concerns moving into next year? What are your thoughts about that?
Okay, so exactly. Everybody is kind of worried because the way the oil prices are going, the prices have really helped stabilize the currency, and it's also provided some liquidity for the central bank to defend the currency substantially. So, but there are also projections. Looking at the global market, there are projections. Saudi Arabia and other people and Nigeria are having conversations about the oil price. So there are projections that it would maybe settle around $70 and all that. And if that happens, then we'll still be pretty much fine and able to still keep defending it. And of course, after the elections have come and gone, expectedly there will be additional support from FDIs that will come in, and that should also support the economy and the currency at large. But then, yes, the price of oil is a source of concern, but I don't think it will go to those levels we saw that, threw the economy out into recession and things really got terrible. But I think that, yes, everybody is concerned, but projections are that you settle around 70 there about next year, whatever happens.
Keeping with the currency fears and currency issue, do you think that if, one, the manufacturers still have a lot of foreign currency debt? I know during the 2015-2016 currency crisis, a lot of that was switched into Naira. And two, if they do you think they'll do similar to what Access Bank is doing, which is prepaying its dollar debt early, which seems to suggest that they suspect Naira might be under pressure, and so let's get rid of dollar liabilities while we can?
Sure. So what we're experiencing, even practically from a lot of manufacturers today, is that they are closing those open positions quickly. So typically you would see that towards the end of the year, they are concentrating more on selling, building up funds and all that. But what we're experiencing is that a lot of them are, sourcing for dollars, whether through the retail window or I&E window or wholesale window, trying to close their positions. Because again, when elections are coming and a new government might come in, you never know, or even the same government, there could be some policy changes. So to be safe, because what happened the last time was really catastrophic. People lost, value, lost monies, and even some companies practically went under. So you want to close those positions, and we're seeing a lot of them doing that. They are, as much as possible, reducing their open positions, so that even if there's a currency devaluation or something happens, it won't hit them. So that move is actually happening, especially with those who dwell a lot there.